Hi everyone, welcome to Intro to Git at Learn Day here at HackCamp. I hope you had a great start to your morning so far, and you're all ready to learn about Git. So my name is Victoria Lim, and I'll be hosting the workshop here today. I'm in my second year in cognitive systems. I am a cmd-f logistics coordinator for the nwPlus team. So I have some lovely, lovely TAs here with me today who are going to be more than happy to answer your questions. So feel free to send them over in the Discord channel, which I'll get into right now. Okay, yeah, so before we get started, just some things to note before. So if you ever get stuck at any point of this workshop, or if you have any questions, no big deal. Seek out a TA by filing a TA ticket. You should be able to see under the Intro to Git channels on Discord a bunch of channels, and one of them should have a huge message where you can file a ticket for a TA to come assist you. You can also comment in the activity banter channel on Discord, and you can also refer to the code snippets, which should have been linked in the pre-workshop to-dos or slides on the screen or before you came into Learn Day today. And you can also refer to shortcuts, which are on the very last slide of this presentation. So a lot of things that you can do if you ever get stuck, so don't worry about it. We're going to have a fun time. Yeah, but before we get started, please make sure if you haven't already that you install Git, make a GitHub account, and download Visual Studio Code. No big deal if you haven't done that, we will have a couple minutes later to catch up, but that was part of the pre-workshop to do, so I would love it if you could just get started on that right away. But yeah, a little rundown on what to expect today in our hour that we have here together. So we are going to start with what is Git. So I'll be just taking you through the basics of what Git is, how it is used, and then we'll be diving a little bit more into what Git is for the second time, and then we'll actually get to use it and GitHub, and then finally we'll dive into kind of a bit of the intermediate stuff, so branches and pull requests, which you'll find out what they are shortly after. But yeah, before we get started, I want to say a special thanks to Joyce Tang and Kristen Kong for letting us adapt their amazing slides and content. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, let's get started. What is Git? Okay, so before we get started, well, this has a lot to do with what Git is, but we'll dive into what version control is. So essentially, with version control, you are keeping track of a history of changes to your software code. This allows for collaborative development and also allows for backtracking and looking at older versions of your work. So essentially, you can think of it as something similar to Google Docs, which I'm sure most of you have used. You can always look at different versions of your doc on Google Docs, and you can also work on the same doc at the same time with other people. And it's really nice because it also tracks your history of changes that you have made. So as you might have guessed, Git is a type of version control. So what we just talked about, Git allows you to do all of that. And it is the type of version control which is called a distributed version control system. What that means is that you can work offline. So if you ever run out of Wi-Fi for some reason, you're just in the middle of nowhere, you don't have Wi-Fi, totally okay. You can use Git. The opposite of that would be a centralized version control system. So you would need to be online for that. So yeah, we have those two types, and Git is that first one. Okay, so you've probably heard of GitHub or Git, and you're probably wondering what's the difference between them. Well, as mentioned before, Git is the form of version control, so keeps track of your code history, whereas GitHub is that cloud-based hosting service that kind of just oversees all that. All those your Git repositories. It's like the company kind of that hierarchy. GitHub would be on the top. It would be the cloud-based server, and Git would be within it. So repository, new word. So that's last definition for now. Let's learn about what that is. So essentially a repository is where Git stores the metadata and object database for the project. If you're that was a lot of technical terms. It's essentially just all the files related to your code. that is just stored in your repository, and every developer has a copy of their code in a local repo on their computer, and most likely a remote repo on the server, which is GitHub. But there is also like just a bunch of other like cloud hosting services. You don't need to use GitHub for, you need to, yeah, you don't, there's many options. You don't have to like stick with GitHub. It's just the one we're sticking with today. And yeah, as mentioned before, local repo, that is just you making changes to your own copy of the code on your device. Okay. So yeah, let's get started with a little prompt, just to dive in on like how Git is used exactly. So I would love it if y'all could just type in activity banter over on Discord, how you currently collaborate without the use of Git. Yeah. So yeah, you might just be using like messaging services to communicate your code with your friends or something like that. Feel free to just let me know. And yeah, give you like 30 seconds for that if anyone wants to participate. Verbally, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's very helpful if you're IRL, or Discord if you're not IRL. Google Docs, yes. Perfect. Discord is popular. Ooh, Miro. Okay, that's interesting. I have never heard of that, or that sounds familiar, but I don't know what that is exactly. Whiteboard, yes. Morse code, love that. Okay. So yeah, thank you everyone for your, smoke. So we love it. We love it here. Love your ideas. Okay. So yeah, thanks everyone for your ideas. So we'll be moving on to next slide over here. Perfect. Oh yeah, so as mentioned, some of you already mentioned this, so you might use Messenger or Gmail. These are, they get the point, like they get the job done, but they're not as entirely efficient. It might be time consuming, it might be messy to kind of have to sort through all your different emails. You're like, what is this email for? Like, if I want to make changes, it's really not very effective at all. So this is why Git is definitely good, because it's like version control. It helps you. You can always revert back to previous documents or previous versions of your file, and you can examine everything and all that. So yeah, let's continue to talk about Git. Okay, so let's dive into the 3 stages of a Git file. So I like to think of these 3 stages as kind of like a ready, get, set, go analogy. So we first start with modified, which is where you have changed your file, but you haven't stored it in your repository yet. So, you've been coding, you've been beep booping and pushing buttons, and you've saved your file, but you haven't really done anything yet, right? So so that's your ready portion, and then we're gonna go into your staging portion, which essentially is just marking that this goes to the next commit, whatever file you're doing, whatever changes you've made, that goes into the next commit to be stored in your repository. So that's like kind of your like get set. It's like your prep phase. And then your final stage is committing your Git file. So in this stage, we're essentially just storing our file into our repository. We're just, storing the changes that we've made there. And yeah, at the stage, Git kind of like takes like a snapshot of what your files look like. So every commit would represent the changes made to your project, and also it would consist of details about when it was modified and who made the changes, so everyone can get credit, for their work. And you can also like include a message to just remind yourself in the future, like why you made this commit or like what this commit was for. It's lots of fun stuff. So yeah, enough chatter from me. We're gonna get started and use Git now. So I hope by the time you have had it all installed. No, but if you haven't, no worries. Definitely opportunity to catch up later. But yeah, okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna open up Visual Studio Code on our computer. So I'll let y'all do that right now. Amazing. So I just have mine over here. And what we want to do when we get started is we want to click on the terminal, and we're going to click on new terminal, so we can really just get started with our coding here today. So I'll give you like 10 seconds to do that. But right now, we just want to make sure that we have the correct version of Git installed and everything is all fine and dandy. There's no errors in installation, because if we have errors now, then we're just going to get into more errors later. So we're going to type in git -- version and click enter. And yeah, so if all is fine and dandy, you should be able to just see like the Git version that you've installed, and no red errors should pop up and anything like that. Okay, so once we've moved past that stage, we want to configure our Git setup. So we are going to type in git config and -- global. We're going to type in our username. So we're going to type in user.name and whatever your username is. So my username is that, and I will just click enter. And we also want to initialize or configure our email. So we're going to type in git config -- global user.email in our email. So I'm just going to type in my email like so. Okay. So I hope everyone can follow along for that. Reminder that we do have code snippets if you ever get lost. Yeah, so you can always refer to that. And now we want to check that our configurations have been set up. So we're going to type in git config list, -- list. And we're going to click enter. Okay, yeah, so I can see my username and my email, so all good. And then when you see that N button, I just want you to click Q, so then you can get back to your console. And that's all great. Okay, so let's create a repository. So we're going to create our very first repository, which is you'll find out what it is essentially. But I would like everyone to just come along with me. We're going to go to GitHub. So we're going to open that up. So right now would be a good time to like log in if you haven't already. And yeah, so once you've done that, we are going to click on new repository here. So it's that green button on the top left corner of your screen. Okay, so we're going to create a new repository. So right to here under repository name, I want you to essentially just type in your username. So whatever your username is, just type it in here. Okay, so yeah, so this repository is a special repository that you can essentially use to like add a file that introduces who you are to your Git and like has a little description of yourself to the GitHub profile. So this is really useful if you just want people viewing your GitHub to like know a bit about who you are and what projects you're working on and all that. So yeah, right now we just want it to be public, and it's really important that we check this box off so it says add a README file because this is where we will do our work later on. So very important that we click this, and again, make sure that your repository name is the same as your username. And mine is grayed out because I've already created mine, but yours will hopefully be green and you'll be able to click on that right now. Okay. And yeah, so once we've done that, we're just going to head back, and you will probably see this screen on after you've created your repository. You'll be right here. And we want to make sure that we can clone our repository so that we can work on it in Visual Studio Code, right? So we are going to look for this green code button over here on the right corner of the screen. We're going to click on it, and we are going to make sure that it says HTTPS, and then we're going to click on the two squares right here. So essentially you are copying your repository link, which you'll need to do. Okay. All right. So what we're doing now is that we are cloning a repository, which essentially just means that we are creating a folder that we can work on our repository offline with, so we can work on it locally. So we are going to get back into Git, and we are going to type in git clone and insert username, insert link here. So yours shouldn't say fatal. Mine's fatal because it already exists, but it should let you do that right now. And what is really important here is that we make sure that our README file that we've already downloaded to our computer is in the same directory as what we're working on here. So for example, for my file at the very top, when I go into open file, you can see, where everything is on the top corner of your screen. And mine is under like something called VLXY7, which is my username. So I am not in that directory right now. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to type in cd and VLXY7. And so when I open my file later, everything is all good. And yeah. Okay, so yeah, as I mentioned, we are going to edit our README file. So I want you all to navigate to the folder for the repo on your computer and open up that file. So, and essentially what I just did. And yeah, we are going to do that right now. So open file, README, and open, and you should see this on your screen. Okay, I'm just going to full screen it for a second because there's some things I wanted to go over. So yeah, you'll probably see this little pop-up with the greened out text, which is essentially, this is commented out. So if you want to uncomment the text, you can do like Control-K-U. Again, shortcuts or code snippets are in the last slide. So once we've done that, that's like, uncommented. And all this white code here is uncommented code. If I were to comment it out, I would do Control-K-U again, uncomment Control-K-U. So GitHub gives you a bunch of prompts that you can just fill in. I've filled in some, and you can just use those prompts if you want, or you can come up with something on your own. But right now, I'll probably just give you a few minutes to do that, maybe like 5 to 8 minutes. Or maybe 8 minutes just in case anyone is behind. And yeah, so right now we just want you to make sure that you can edit your file and just write in whatever you want to share with the world right now. And yeah. Okay. Oh yes, and I would love it if you all could just react in Discord. I think a TA should probably be sending out, or I can send out a poll that will help me to gather like how this workshop speed is running so far. And yeah, so I will look for, okay, amazing. Someone said that out. And just a reminder that if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of the TAs through Discord. I believe there's a like message that you can like click on, and you can send stuff over to them. Okay, yay! I'm happy to know that it's going just right. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer for like 5 minutes, and then we'll get started after that. So give y'all a little bit of time to work on it. If you're ever like stuck on what to like do, I guess for right now. Oh, oops, sorry. There we go. I can just have what I have up on the screen. So I kind of just wrote, my year, my major, which school I go to, and all the things that I'm interested in. I'm actually gonna edit mine a little too with y'all. Let's see. Let's do yeah, if you are done, please make sure that you save your changes by doing Control S or Command S, because this will tell Git that you have modified the Git file. So by saving your changes, you have done the first step in our 3-stage process, and yeah, you should be all good to go. I'll have some ideas to get started up on the screen. So if anyone's finished early and wants to tell me how they're finding Learn Day so far, feel free to do so in Activity Banter. We can chat over there. Yeah. I hope y'all have been enjoying it so far. If you went to the workshop previously, you might have seen me there. Christy gave a great workshop on ABCs for technical interviews, which honestly I found super helpful too. So definitely would recommend checking out the recording if you missed it. But yeah. So yeah, I guess I would just talk about why this workshop is useful. So if you are joining us again for HackCamp next weekend, it is, you're probably going to work on a project and you're probably going to work on it with a team. And GitHub is Git is just really useful so that you can all work on, the same project at once. Just make all your changes together, collaborate, do all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's just a great tool. Okay, so I'm probably gonna get started again in 30 seconds. So make any final changes and don't forget to save your files once it's all good. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, if you have any problems with the workshop so far, issues that you come across, please don't please just feel free to reach out to ATA. I think it's probably under assistance, under the intro to Git. Yeah, so they can definitely help you out. They'll pull you somewhere and work on it together. So yes. Okay. So let's get back to our workshop. So okay, so yeah, so as I mentioned before, make sure that you have saved your changes because this is our first step in our 3-stage process. And yeah, you probably want to see any changes that you have made. So in order to do that, right now we're just going to do a little detour and type in git and status. So I'll tell you any changes. So yeah, right now you can see that I have made some changes that are not staged yet for commit, which we will get, which we will do right now. So what we're going to do is type in git and add and dot, and this will essentially just add changes in the working directory to your staging area and make sure that your files in your folder has been added to staging. If you are interested in working with other adding options, the code snippet stock has other options in the toggle, so feel free to check that out if you want. But yeah, so let's commit our changes. So this is really important because this is the stage before we push our commits up to our remote repository. So right now we just want to type in git commit -m and whatever message that you have for yourself. So I'm just going to write like new commit, but if you want to be more descriptive, feel free to go ahead. And yeah, so click enter and you'll see right now that we have our new commit. So it says, WAN file changes, things that have been made. So we know that we're good to go. We're good to push it up to our repository. Again, it is git commit -m and whatever commit message you want to display. Yeah. Okay, so now we are ready to push our changes. We're in our final stage. So we're going to type in git and push. Enter. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I just want to say that it is possible for you to wait and push several commits if that's more your style. But right now, for the purpose of the workshop, we are just going to, do everything just at once so that we can do that. So we're going to go check and see if any changes have been made to our repository. So let's go back to GitHub, go to our profile. Okay, yay. So you can see that my changes have been made right here. So this is awesome. This is what we want. We're in a good place. Okay, so if you want to see all the commits that you've made up to this point, we can do something called git log. So open up Visual Studio Code here again, and just type in git log, and this will just tell you everything that you've made so far. Oh, this is a long list. Okay. Lol. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to type, if you ever want to get back to your console, just press Q on your keyboard and you can get back to it. Okay. So yeah, we are going to take a little detour from working with our code, and we're going to talk about a concept called branches. So in Git, branches is, branching rather, is when you diverge from the main line of code development and you work on your own independent line. So this is probably like confusing. So essentially, we were just working on our master repository, our main repository of code. And let's say we want to add like a new feature, but we're not quite sure like how that would play into our main line of code, and we don't want to like mess up anything. We want to keep everything all nice and secure. We would do we would branch away and work on our code in that separate branch essentially. So it is really common to, create a new branch for every like new task that you want to do. So like say you want to add in, you want to debug or you want to do something. So you can make new branches for that. And this is also really useful because it helps others to identify like what changes have been made. And it also makes backtracking simple. So like if you ever, get stuck and you want to like do all of that, it is much easier to do that for a branch rather than your main line of code. So yeah, so I just have like a nice little graphic here that will show you kind of just all the different options. You have your main branch, the green one, running through the center, and then you have your other little branches that you can do new feature and work on new features on. And this is really great just for organization because then you can have teams working in parallel. You can work in parallel with your teammates at the same time. You can do those changes at the same time. So it is just a really useful form of development. Yeah, we'll get into that later, but you're probably like, how do I make all those changes like come back and make it cohesive into one? So we will merge all our branches together at the very end. So once we're all ready and we're all done and we know that our stuff that we've been working on, our branches are good, we can do that later. Okay, yeah, as I mentioned before, some pros. If you are focusing on specific parts of the project and tasks that you want to get done, collaborating with others, this is just a really useful thing to do. And because changes in other branches will not affect your work unless you get to that main stage where you merge everything together. So it really just helps to your team to just make the best choices for the project that you're working on. and even if you're working on by yourself, you know, it's just really helpful for you to like know where everything is and be able to work on different things at once. So yeah. Okay, so you're like, let's make some right now. Yeah, so let's open up Visual Studio Code again, and we are going to get into it. So we are going to type in Git and branch and whatever we want to name our new branch. So let's say I want to name my new branch tree branch or tree. Let's do that. You can choose whatever name you want to do for that. Okay, so some cool things that you can do with branching. If you want to list all the branches that you have in your workshop, totally fine. Like the code for that is just to type in git and branch, and this will show you all the different branches that you have in your project. If you want to check out a specific branch, which we do now because we want to work on one of the branches in our project, we want to diverge away from that main branch, which we have been previously working on. We are going to just type in git and then check out and the name of your branch that you have made. So yeah, it will show you that you have switched to that branch and you're all ready to start working on your code specific in that branch, and those changes that you made will not affect those changes in the main branch. Okay, so yeah, since we're in our new branch, I'll give you around 5 minutes to make any changes that you want to your README file in your new branch so that we can, actually have some changes to save and merge later on. If you can't think of anything, just, add a punctuation mark somewhere. I might add an extra dot period. And of course, don't forget to save your changes by, Control S or Command S. But yeah. So again, I'll set maybe a 3-minute timer. And we're going to do that now. Yep. So this is great. So if you point to, work on anything that you wanted to work on in the past. And yeah, I'll just see if we have anything. Okay, it looks like all is good on the Discord. Yay. I'm going to take a drink of water. Feel free to just relax and unwind if you are all done making your changes. I feel like sometimes hackathons or even I guess learn days like the one we have today can get super hectic. So it's definitely really important to take some time and unwind, get away from your screen, stretch. We actually have a stretching session coming up this afternoon, so definitely join us for that. Stay hydrated, make sure that you're eating well, and yeah. So I hope that everyone has been able to catch up, making changes right now. Just want to remind everyone to modify your files by saving them. UB. Oops. Okay, let's. Oh. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay. All right, 10 more seconds. Make sure that you save your changes. All right, okay, let's get into it. Okay, so right now we want to make sure that our changes are staged and committed. So a little hack that you can do to do those steps at once is to type in git commit. Git commit. Okay. Trying to get to Visual Studio Code. Yay, amazing. Okay. So we are going to get back to our code, our terminal, and type in git commit -am and our commit message. So I'm just going to put like new commit because I'm super creative and hit enter. And yeah, so you should see that your file has been changed. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so since our branch is only specific to our local machine right now, we want to make sure that our changes that we've been made get pushed up to the remote repository at GitHub. So we are going to type in to that code that was just on your screen. So git push-u origin whatever branch that you just did. So, okay, amazing. So yeah, so again, this will be where we would merge our branches. So we've pushed, we've committed our changes. We've staged, committed, and now we're ready to just push our changes. And we pushed, and now we're ready to just merge all our new branch into our main branch. So I know it says Git checkout master on the code, but different versions of of Git, your main branch and your master branch might be like your primary branch might be either called your main branch or your master branch. So for me, it is main. So I'm just going to click Git checkout and main. And I'm going to do git merge and that branch that I wanted to merge with. Awesome. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. So yeah, so we're going to go back to GitHub right now and see if our changes have been made. Okay, perfect. I have that extra punctuation mark. Okay, so let's talk about something called a pull request for the time being. So what are pull requests? So essentially, they are requests that you make to other users to review your code before you push to the master or the main branch. And why is this super useful is that you might not want to, share code that might be incorrect or incomplete. And if that code is incorrect and incomplete, it might break other people's code if you push to your main branch. So what we want to do is after we have pushed our new branch to the repository, we want to before we even merge, our branches all together, we want to create a pull request to merge that new branch that we've created with the main or master branch. So let's do that right now. So we're going to head over to GitHub, and we're going to go back to our repository. And yeah, so we see right here that our whatever branch that we just created had recent pushes, and we want to review them. So we are going to click compare and pull request over here, and we're going to open a new pull request. You can feel free to type in any comments that you want to leave for yourself or for the reviewer, and you are just going to click create pull request right now. Awesome. So you want, ideally you want your branch to have no conflicts with the base branch, so that merging can be performed automatically, and all you have to do is just click on this button right here, merge pull request, and confirm merge. Okay, awesome. So again, if you missed that, we just wanted to look for all the green buttons, compare and pull request, create pull request, and then merge that pull request. So, okay, wow, we're at the end game now. So we have one last thing to do. So we want to make sure that we get the remote updates on our local repository or local computer. So we are going to just go back to Visual Studio Code and do that. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to type in git pull and origin, and I think my branch was tree. Let's see. Okay, already up to date. Oh, sorry, git pull origin and main. Git pull origin main. Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, so I guess just before we close, I just wanted to go through some of like shortcuts or basic team workflow / tips that you can use for your HackCamp projects next weekend. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is you will make a repo on GitHub, and you will share a link with your team. You already know how to do that. We went through that today, so hopefully that step goes really well for you. And your team members will use git clone and link, so they also should already know how to do that if they came today, or so once you've done that, you'll just do that in your terminal, and you'll work in your stuff in Visual Studio Code. And then once you're all ready, you will push with that command on your screen right now to the remote branch, and then you will make and merge your pull request, and everyone else's uses git pull to get to the changes that have been made. And essentially, you kind of just cycle through steps 3 and 5 until your project is all done, and you're all good to go. Okay, so before you go, if you haven't joined our Discord server yet, please do so, discord.gg/hackcamp2021. Don't forget to collect your stamps and the intro to Git channel. So it will be sent out shortly. All you have to do is just react to the message that will pop up, and you can get your stamp for attending today's workshop. Feel free to just take a break. I think we're heading into lunchtime, so definitely go grab some lunch and do all that. And yeah, stay hydrated. Make sure that you're all fed and good, and prepare for more fun workshops later. We have so many incredible workshops coming later, and fun mini activities and all that. If you're interested in just learning more with us here today, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at nwPlus. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. And yeah, that is all. I believe the stamp should be sent out shortly, so just make sure that you react when they are. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.